Today we're in Hayesville, North Carolina, and we're lucky enough to have the publishers of Lake Chatuge Living. Frank, Jeanne, what's the vision? How did you come up with publishing a magazine about our beautiful lake, as you can see?
Well, we have a home on the lake. For many years, it was a vacation home. And when we made the decision in 2020 to move here full time, honestly, at first, we didn't know what we were going to do professionally when we got here. We'd both spent our careers in media, various media, never a print publication, but looked at the market and tried to find an opportunity. What was lacking? What were we missing? I had been exposed to the idea of a community magazine in some previous places that I had lived and didn't see that anybody was doing something like that here. And we've got, I thought, an area that was ideal for it. We are a beautiful lake community, but we're two separate towns in two separate counties in two separate states. And yet, I think if you live on the lake, you don't view it that way. And so I felt like we needed something that was about the Lake Chatuge area, not Towns County or Clay County. And so Jeanne and I kicked around this idea of, should we go this route? And it wound up becoming Lake Chatuge Living magazine.
Now, how many issues have you gone to print with?
10 so far. It's a monthly publication.
Right.
So we launched this. The first issue was in July of 2021. It took us a few months to get our advertising base in place. We are fully supported by advertisers. There's no subscription cost. We mail it free of charge to every home on and near Lake Chatuge that gets mail. So currently that is something in the neighborhood of about 3,200 homes, just shy of that. And so 10 issues so far, and it comes out every month.
So if you live on Lake Chatuge and you're not currently getting this magazine, make sure you call them, email them.
That's right.
Now, what I really like is the family approach. Each issue has a picture of a family. Tell me, how did you come up with this concept, and how do you pick the guests that you have each week, or month, I'm sorry?
Well, the families, that's a really fun part of the magazine, and it's one of the intriguing things to people who get the magazine. And the way we find them, we sort of decided that we wanted to go back and forth from towns to Clay counties when possible, and then cover various ages and sometimes it's generally been a family, but we try to go skew a little bit younger, a little bit older, and just kind of balance it out so everybody gets a chance. And we've had a lot of luck getting local families, but it's been also kind of challenging trying to figure out who we're going to ask.
Sure.
We've rarely been told no, just a couple of times, but Frank really handles that piece of it.
Yeah, it's working around people's schedules is never easy. And many of the people that we feature, if it is a family, now you're not just dealing with one person's schedule, you're dealing with 4 or 5 people's schedules. So that has been the challenge of it. But we ask our readers to nominate families. And so that's most often how we find out about who to talk to. Several community leaders, the local chambers of commerce, have all made suggestions about families or people that we should talk to. And in a pinch, we go to our neighbors.
Well, I see why. Tell me a little about your different articles. Like the most recent one, you have calendar of events and local finds for foodies.
Yeah, we have several features that are in the magazine every month. I primarily handle the content side of the magazine. Jeanne primarily handles the advertising side of the magazine. So I did not want to have to do all the writing forever. Right. The first few issues, pretty much everything that was in those pages I wrote. Occasionally Jeanne would help me out with a little contribution here or there. But we went to the community again and asked, if you've got a talent, if you've got an area of interest, if you have an area of expertise, then provide some content. So we have a regular feature on a local restaurant that's now being written as a restaurant review. We have a local fiction writer who every month does a piece called Legend Has It, and she writes about stories that are lake related and that she's picked up from the locals. You know, might be about the Native American community, might be about when the dam was first put in, those sorts of things. We always have a monthly calendar of events. We always have a recipe from a local reader. And sometimes that's appropriate to the season. Sometimes it's just something that they like. Initially, they were provided by us, so my favorite Sloppy Joe recipe is in an issue. And I still love that recipe. And then we also have what we call expert contributors. And Rick, you're familiar with this. We have a few advertisers who write about their area of expertise, whether that be about the real estate market or about what's going on with, you know, whatever their industry happens to be. It could be, we've got an insurance agent who writes about what's happening in that particular industry. We've got a writer on health and wellness who is an expert contributor. And actually, we're just adding a brand new one in you might want to touch on, who's going to write on outdoor living.
Oh, wow.
Oh, right. Our latest advertiser is going to write about, you know, what to do when you're thinking about putting in a fire pit or those kinds of things. And another area that we have that we really like is the spotlight on a charity. So each month we highlight another charity, and that has been awesome because it's allowed us to sort of give back to the community, which was a huge part of the reason that we wanted to get involved in this. And we hear from them saying, hey, thank you so much. We got 2 volunteers, or we got a couch, or we got a donation, or we got this. So it's been very gratifying to do that.
Yeah, and then I guess the one other thing I'll also mention, we love the Charity Spotlight, and we also do what we call a community update. So we have a monthly message from the mayor or comments from the commissioner, depends on if they're one of the towns or one of the counties. Yeah. And so, you know, Commissioner Cliff Bradshaw from Towns County or Rob Peck, who's the chair of the board in Clay County, will write for us, as well as the 3 mayors from Hayesville, Hiwassee, and Young Harris. And we rotate those every month, so we always know what's going on in the community that way.
What has been your biggest surprise in publishing this magazine?
Our motivation in really deciding to do this wasn't because we needed a job or we were trying to make money. And honestly, we're not making that much money off of it yet. Yeah. Someday maybe. But what our motivation was to become way more involved in the community. And I don't know if I'd say if it's the biggest surprise, but it's been the biggest pleasure that we've gotten out of this has really gotten us involved in the community. Right. We've met so many people. We have had an amazing response, honestly, from the community, from those community leaders on down. And really the most gratifying comments that we get are from, you know, the people that we've never met before who are getting this in their mailbox every month, and they'll call or they'll send us an email and they'll say, I love your magazine, I loved this story, or I was shared, your magazine was shared with me and I don't get it, I want to get it, how can that happen?
So what would you like the community to know about your magazine?
Well, it's 100% local content, 100% local in every way. As I said, I do much of the writing, but many others also contribute, and they all live on and near the lake. And we're always looking to add to that. If somebody's got a talent or an area of interest that they would like to contribute, reach out to us and let us know. It's a growing magazine. We started with 16 pages in our first 3 issues. We went to 20 pages for the last 7 months now. We're on the verge of going to 24 pages, and so it is growing, and we do need more content as that happens. It is the advertising that drives that growth. And these are local businesses that are our advertisers. They are, you know, moms and pops, and they need the support of the local community. And, you know, Jeanne actually wrote a letter to our readers in our most recent issue about that. I'm gonna let you kind of summarize sort of what that was about.
Well, basically, you know, we wanted. We would love to ask people to support the advertisers. Sure. They really make the magazine possible. And I know sometimes, you know, maybe it's a little bit more expensive to get something, you know, at a local business as opposed to Ingalls or what have you. Maybe it's a little further to drive or what have you. But we would just love it if our readers could support our local advertisers. So it's just a win-win-win. Everybody wins from the magazine being a part of the community.
I have a win to add to that. As I'm one of your advertisers, I can tell you it has worked. I have gotten business from advertising with your magazine. So it's a win for the community. It's a win for the magazine, and it's a win for your advertisers too,
That's
locally.
great.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
We have heard from a lot of our advertisers that are getting response and are really feeling like it's been a good investment for them. I think it was something that's been well received by the community. There was a little missing something out there, and I think we might have found it with Lake Chatuge Living.
Thank y'all for having us out today, but first and foremost, I really want to thank you for publishing the magazine. It's a great service for our community, and I'm really excited and looking forward to this coming year's growth. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.